Christmas.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker.
Last
This is
Christmas.
WPwatercooler, episode number 258. Today's topic is giving back to the WordPress community. Let's go around the room real quick and get everyone introduced.
Is that a Christmas theme topic?
Mhm.
Giving.
Giving.
Say just knows how to make them happen. George with the lovely hat. Tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, I am George Adonis. I work on Jetpack by day and Random Chaos by night. And I am lead organizer of the WordCamp Lancaster community, and we are going to be having our WordCamp on March 3rd. So speaker applications close in the next week or so, so get them in.
Nice, man. Good to have you on. How about you, Russ? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yo, what's up? I'm back making a return. So my name's Russ. I work at Web Dev Studios, and so every week our company does this thing called Fire for the Future, talking about giving back. I'm so excited to give back to this episode.
Ooh, check you out being on topic. Nice.
And he's here to say he wants to give back in a meaningful way. Yo.
Rhyming.
White people rapping. It's always the best. Hey, how about you? Tell us about yourself.
I'm Say. I make WordPress feature post. I don't make me laugh because I'll erupt into a fit of coughing and that won't be fun for me. So no laughing today on the show.
Say is so out of it that the number that she has on the wall is from like years past.
I had a number joke. I didn't say anything.
Episode 25.
Cough medicine is real. That's just syrup. I'm on that syrup. It's doing real good things for my brain.
It's okay. You're in California. The real stuff's legal in January.
Well, not in Long Beach, but
legal now.
Cough syrup is much stronger than any of that stuff. Let me tell you.
I'm Steve Zangit. I am the founder of Zeek Interactive, and I run the OC WordPress meetup.
Did you not want to talk about cough syrup more? What is
no, we just want to get through introduction.
Staying off that dangerous cough syrup.
I'm Jason Tucker. You can find me over at Jason Tucker on Twitter, and my website is jasontucker.blog. Oh my goodness, you guys!
Can I check last of 2017? Like, what number is this? I don't even know.
Steve, you just started a new meetup, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
I love it. All right.
Let's talk about giving back to Shopify. Wait, oh, did I say that? I did.
Jason, how do you give back to the WordPress community other than allowing an amazing WPwatercooler series? What else?
Oh my goodness!
Wait, please tell me what the episode number is, please.
It's on the bottom of the
25.
You have a 0 through 9 chance.
Not us.
Right.
No, just not gonna happen, huh?
No.
Okay.
258.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted. Just a number.
On the bottom of the screen.
It's not on the bottom of my screen.
Oh, sorry. All right. So, what do I do to give back to the community? So,
nothing.
I've been running with two other guys. We've been running this WordPress meetup in Whittier, where the city that I live in, and we've started up a meetup. We get about 25 or so people showed up to the thing. We're actually starting to run out of room, and I told the guy who we actually meet up at his office. I was like, we need to do the Steve Zangit model of now you need to move your office to a bigger office so that way we have more space.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Totally.
But yeah, because Steve moved twice just to be able to keep updating to like a larger space.
I did, yeah. It was all for the meetup.
He needs a place for all those classic video games, all right?
Or a pool table at this point.
It's true. That is a pool table right back there, yeah. Whoa.
What is happening?
I just spilled.
He just spilled something on the pool table. That's how that works.
Do you have rice? Because
I spilled water. No, it's not my phone. It's fine. It's all good.
Apparently, rice is all you need to fix things.
Don't worry about me. Let's talk about giving back.
So yeah, WordPress meetups.
Waterproof iPhone.
What about you, George? What do you guys do WordPress meetup wise over there?
We have a meetup once a month covering assorted topics. We try to get folks, encourage new speakers, develop folks that are willing to share their experience, look at some projects. One of the more unique types of meetups we've done in the past has been what we called a WordPress Workday, which was just we'd get a co-working space for a Saturday and say, hey, bring your side projects, bring your pet projects. And if you're a developer, help some designers get their code together. If you're a designer, help some developers get their designs together. And everyone was trading off and collaborating and drinking beer and eating pizza, and it was a good time for all.
Unless you were gluten-free. Sorry.
Say
You can
is
bring salad, say. You can bring salad.
No,
Say's
No more cough syrup for you.
Say
Say
all the kale for you, say.
I don't do so well with cough syrup, is what I'm
Seriously.
determining.
We can tell.
Oh my God.
Goodness, she's gonna die. It's gonna be awesome.
Say's dying. Y'all are at least in the right time zone, so. Did someone check on Say after this?
I'll run over there.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Oh
So
my God.
no, we always talk about our meetups and the stuff that we're doing over here, and we've never really asked you, George, like what's going on with your meetups over there and what you guys are doing. So it's really cool. It sounds like having a co-working type thing.
Yeah.
Seems like.
And we're going into our 5th year of WordCamp Lancaster. Our first year we got about 150 people, then about 180, 210. 235 or so. So we're expecting probably around 250 people this year for a 2-track event. Our first year was 1-track, which was fantastic. For new WordCamps just getting started, I cannot emphasize how tremendously useful and valuable to the community doing a simple 1-track event can be. But we've been doing 2 tracks for a while now, largely split into, some people do like a designer developer split. What we found works best is splitting into 1 track for people that make websites for other people, and 1 track for folks that run their own websites. So that's more like if you're a business owner versus someone that's working for an agency making other folks' websites. So we found that was a pretty good split, and we could get a fairly decent crowd in both tracks.
That's cool.
I like that.
What about you, Russ? What do you guys got going on over there?
I mean, our meetup's pretty easy, pretty much kind of the same across the country. What we do is that I usually kick it off with like 20-30 minutes of like WordPress news. So I kind of catch people up like, hey, did you know like WordFence caught this this plugin that was mining cryptocurrency? Did you know that desktop server just upgraded so you can do .dev? All this kind of stuff, right? We kind of catch up. But it's also, you know, like getting those brands or getting those other companies in WordPress out to our meetup people, right? So it's kind of like letting our people know like what other opportunities you can do. Because I think sometimes, and especially in our meetup, people get like 1 track, like they're all or nothing in on 1 plugin. And it's like, listen, there's like 8,000 sliders. You can try them all. And that's kind of what we really do. So we do, it's about 1 time a year where we do nothing but questions, answers, and kind of like one-on-one time. Just like bring whatever you have. I'm not going to like write all your code for you, but I'll kind of like help you with this, and I'll get you pointed in the right direction, and we can go from there.
Very cool.
And then as far as WDS, it's usually one of those things where everybody in the team, we are assigned a day where like last Friday was my 5 for the Future day. I had the entire day, and I just hung out in the WordPress support forums and just like answered questions, or I'd go check out the plugin and try to like reply back. Like that's what we do. Like everybody in the company has 1 design day where as long as you give back, as long as it's something WordPress related, you're kind of free to do what you want to do.
Very cool. Yeah, I was just looking up this your guys' concept of 5 for the Future. Pretty neat.
So we used to actually do like the whole company. The whole entire company would shut down for a day. That didn't work out so well as clients started coming in. And then we started doing Mondays where it'd be like, you know, Monday for the first 2 hours. Let's just do 5 for the Future. That way, you know, like let's start off the week good. But then again, as clients started coming in and we started turning this thing into like the, you know, a business, we had to kind of like work things out. I think we're finally to a point where everybody now has 5 for the Future. We know what we're working on, and like every quarter, I think we do a blog post worked on, and it's actually kind of cool to see like the different places people are working on in WordPress.
That's really neat. I like that. I mean, that's what like Google does this sort of stuff. You have, you know, all these like big companies kind of do these things of, you know, they kind of give back to, you know, a project that they're working on or something that they're really interested in or something like that. So it sounds really neat to hear that your guys' company is doing that too. I
don't want to sound like a Google search results page, but that's how Facebook started with the like button, right? They had a 24-hour hackathon that was like, what would you like to see? And that's how the like button got involved. And I think as that started to grow, more companies started to really adopt that of like, how do you give back? How do you make it to where like, you know, it's not just ran by some overhead like cabinet or board members, you know, like how do we give back? And I think it's really cool when you see people like just writing code for free or jumping on a Facebook group and being like, hey, I use this plugin, check it out. Things like that. Like we're just improving everybody's sites together. And that's, I mean, not to get all sentimental, but that's what I like about the WordPress community. You know, it's like I've learned a lot about plugins that I didn't even know existed because other people are like, yeah, I use it all the time.
I guess that's something we haven't really done in the Orange County WordPress community, is doing some type of like hackathon type thing or something like that. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. I know over in LA, they did their website weekend back in 2016. That was a pretty big thing. That was like websiteweekend.la. So that, you know, they were doing that, just getting a bunch of people together, a bunch of companies and organizations and stuff that just don't have websites, and nonprofits, yeah, I guess.
But I think for them. I think Plugin Palooza alone like makes up for your guys' year. I mean, like the quality of plugins that are coming out of there that are helping people do things like display hours on their website. Stuff like that is just amazing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've done those for a couple of years now, right, Steve?
I think you're on mute.
Yeah, you're muted. Sorry.
Sorry. God, I've been saying insightful stuff this whole time. No, I haven't.
I was wondering what Wikipedia said about this.
Plugin Palooza is going into its 4th year, so we're very excited about that, and we're I'll let the news out early. We're raising the stakes this year.
Woo!
Ooh. Raising the stakes.
What are you like raising the dead as vampires and then staking them back down?
Yes, that's exactly right. I just got a quick update from Say. She is alive.
Yeah.
She's fine. She's just having a coughing fit, so she's dropped off the show.
So what Steve was saying is, if your plugin mines the most Bitcoin, you're gonna win.
So yeah, we're making some adjustments to Plugin Palooza this year, raising the prize money, shortening the event a little bit at the WordCamp. So yeah, it's good.
But I mean, you guys even had people. I think it was somewhere in WordCamp India somewhere, right? That did their own Plugin Palooza. Yep. So I mean, that's you guys giving back, pushing that out.
Yeah,
it's world famous now.
That's what we're striving for here. To me, I'm kind of with Jason, and sort of to reflect what all of you said. To me, giving back is just it's more of an attitude and how you approach your meetups and your WordCamps than anything else, right? And this is some of the issues I've seen with other meetups, not necessarily WordPress meetups, but other meetups in the neighborhood, right? People run meetups with ulterior motives and for their own gain. And when that happens, it's just not successful. So I think, you know, my form of giving back is just being as open and as helpful and starting with that foundation from our meetup so that everybody shares when they come to one of our meetups. And that's, you know, and again, my way of giving back is kind of similar to what you guys have done. I've run the meetup now for 8 years. You know, we've got have our WordCamp, and things just continue to grow.
I think it's also one of those things though, where like people assume like, hey, if I'm going to go ask Steve Zangit for help on WordPress, he's going to send me a quote back, and it's like, no. Like if you come to a meetup, like I'm not going to do this for free, but you know, I take 2-3 hours out of my month, and I'm going to show you how to configure the setting, or I'm going to show you how to link to this or whatever. And you know, I think that is pretty cool. You don't see that in a lot of communities. You don't see people just saying, I'll show you how to do this. You know, unless you jump on Reddit, but that's a whole separate story.
Yeah, you want to be careful there. But I mean, you know, we're now running 5 meetups a month under the OC WordPress umbrella. So you know, the way I give back is just give time.
You just need another Monday in the month, then you can add another one, right?
Yeah, sure.
Poor guy.
And you know, and you guys mentioned at the beginning of the talk, you know, one of the things that I'm also becoming interested in is Shopify. So I started a Shopify meetup to, you know, find some people that want to learn together.
I mean,
I was not aware of the Shopify thing.
Yep.
I mean, you clearly don't read Facebook. It's fine.
No, I have a job.
Oh,
Ouch.
I did digital high five there. Good job.
But that's really anybody that's looking to get involved or to give back. You know, and one of the things I hear all the time mentioned on giving to, say, WordPress core is you don't need to be a coder to give to WordPress core. You just need to be somebody who's willing to give your time, right? There's plenty of things that core needs, and so if you're willing to give some of your time, you have a way to give back, no matter at any level. Whether you're advanced or beginner, you know, you can give back to the WordPress community.
One of the very first things that I learned, and this is coming from our great friend Chris Lemma, is that you're always 5 minutes ahead of somebody and 5 minutes behind somebody. Because you know, like, you don't know something, somebody will come along and they'll say, hey, here's how you do this, and then you can pass that along. And I mean, like, because I learned that, it's one of those things where I keep that in the back of my head now. Like, when somebody asks me, like, hey, how do you, like, put this plugin together? My reaction isn't like, are you serious? It's like, okay, where are they coming from? What's your level of WordPress? And then we'll get into it, you know? And I think because of that, like, we've raised our game over time just by keeping that in the back of my head, right? I'm always 5 minutes ahead of somebody. Take a breath. Relax.
And that allows you to be sort of grounded when you're leading a meetup, right? Anybody can start a meetup. Doesn't matter if you know WordPress or you don't, right? And I've seen plenty of successful meetups start with people that just say, "Hey, listen, I don't know anything about this, but I want to get a community together so that we can all learn together," and that's fine, right? I'm starting the Shopify meetup. I'm still new to a lot of things in Shopify. There's going to be people that come to this meetup that have been working with Shopify for years before me, and that's okay, right? For me, it's just about getting people together so that we can share knowledge.
Steve is so new to Shopify, he has not even confirmed his email yet. He has not clicked on that link yet inside of Gmail.
Thank you, Russ.
I mean, it's something that I've been, you know, working around too. Like, I want to start a customer support meetup here. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, how am I doing customer support? My girlfriend does customer support that's in a complete different industry, but like, we share a lot of things together. And it's like, hey, we use this canned response, or hey, like, we started noticing this trend. And like, just by getting other people from different, you know, backgrounds together, you could actually improve WordPress, and you didn't even notice. Like, we're talking about customer support here, you know, but like, it all translates. And I mean, just like Zengi, I'm looking to expand things and see like where else we can take them.
Steve, I just want to know when the Jekyll group starts up.
The other thing you can get involved in is your local WordCamp, right? WordCamps always need good volunteers, and volunteers at most WordCamps are just bodies, right? They need people to check in people at the front desk, or hand out T-shirts, or just monitor a room, right? You do not need WordPress expertise to volunteer to WordCamp.
I mean, what we did in 2015 is I had everybody on like a Google Hangout message thing. So everybody on their phone would be like, hey, where's the speaker track? And, you know, you could just type that in, and then somebody on the team could be like, oh, hey, it's over in this stage or whatever, you know? Like, you didn't have to know anything about our camp to be able to help out, because everybody was connected through chat.
It's awesome.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
And I mean, like, look at Slack, right? Slack right now, if you just like join the WordPress Slack channel, first of all, please be aware you're going to get pinged like crazy. But if you go join the WordPress Slack channel, you can just literally give back in there just by answering a couple questions, or just reading a couple things. I mean, like, that is probably one of my favorite places to go besides like Post Status or WP Tavern. I go straight to the Slack channel and I see what people are talking about.
Well, the WordPress forums are blowing up still to this day. You still have people that are hopping up in the WordPress
Are those still on
forums asking questions.
Oh, wow.
I'm kidding.
But you have plugins that run off of that. There's all sorts of, you know, different things that are tied into that. And I've answered people's questions, you know, where somebody will ask a question about a plugin that I'm using, and I'm like, oh, well, here, try this instead, or this hook is available to you. Feel free to kind of expand off of this or something like that.
So speaking of plugins, if you are a developer, there are plugins that can be adopted, right? Or added, or you can get on a team for a plugin. So if there's a plugin that it's out there that's been abandoned or hasn't been updated in a while, you can give back to that particular plugin.
That's the adopt me tag that was happening within the WordPress tags for the plugins and stuff. Is that's still going on, right? The adopt me tag.
Yeah. But I will say, if you adopt something just so that you can add affiliate links and marketing copy to it, I will hunt you down, find you, and I will end you, especially if you add backdoors onto users' sites.
So what you want to do is take all of your Bitcoin and invest in a really good security system so that George can't get in.
I was gonna say I already have the mock-up set. I have an 8 column and a 4 column. Like I already have my ad space set up. I have my admin panel ready to roll. I 100% agree with you, George. It's like if you're gonna adopt something, like put a little bit of heart into it. Like, hey, this is what I think we should have it do, or whatever. It's not just like, hey, I get a free URL and I'm gonna paste the backlink.
Yeah, I mean, what I've done with my plugins when I've tried to adopt them out to other people before, my rule has always been, I'll retain ownership. I will add you as a committer. Yeah. Write a release or two, and then if you start doing things and you're not trying to slip anything naughty in, then you can run it.
So keep your Bitcoin off until the 3rd release is what George is saying.
Well, it's even one of those things where it's like, hey,
stop mining on users' sites. Dang it!
It's also one of those things though, where like I got listed as a contributor to WP Zero Spam because I fixed the Gravity Forms issue, and it was something that I had personally on my site. I committed it, and then like now I'm tagged in it. It's that it wasn't giving back. It was like, hey, you guys have a problem, and here it is.
Yeah,
like,
but
just by doing kind things like that help.
If you're experiencing that problem, others are experiencing that problem. So that is giving back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if anyone just sat down at the Gutenberg table at WordCamp US and told us what you thought of it, that's giving back.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was actually going to jump to like the happiness table, right? Because that's the happiness counter. That's one of the easiest ways. Just sit down there and answer someone's question about catwalks. Why not?
Did you say catwalks?
Cat blogs. Cat blogs about
the catwalk. Ooh,
oh wow.
I love it. But like I went to WordCamp Ann Arbor and I spent the entire time there at the happiness bar just answering people's questions.
And the happiness bar is a perfect example of what you said, Russ, about somebody's always 5 minutes behind you, right? So no matter where you are, you can help somebody at the happiness bar.
It's even one of those things where it's just like listening to people ask you a question, you kind of get a sense of like where that community is, like with what they're doing with WordPress. And I mean, like that's what I started with. That's what I wanted to know is like, what is Ann Arbor doing? Like, what are they focused on? But then you start meeting other people that are like, this is my first camp and I'm stuck on this thing with, like Contact Form 7. It's like, wow, okay, like let's see if I remember how to do this again. Like get that old ticker jogging again.
Yep.
Well, and working in support, those are the types of things you're going to need to do anyhow. So if you want to brush up on your support skills, having a bunch of weird random problems thrown at you without really knowing what's going on, going, oh, I could fix this. Let me start digging around, and then you're showing somebody how to kind of help their own stuff as well. But you showing them how to Google.
And if you've ever sat at the happiness bar, or if you ever come to one of our meetups, not all the questions are about WordPress, right? Some of them are email questions, SEO questions, hosting questions, right? So there's plenty of stuff that is that supports WordPress that people need help with.
We get a lot of copyright things where it's like, hey, when I have an image and somebody hosts it, like, what do I do? Like, we get a lot of those questions all the time, right? Like, keeping content yours and making sure that you're getting credit for it, like that's a big topic that we face like right now in not just in WordPress, but like in our WordPress community here in Vegas. That's one of the things that we work on. I personally have a buddy that he has been like the source for news stories in Las Vegas for like years, and he's not getting credit for it. So like I'm purposely trying to help him like be recognized that he's broken all these stories that have like helped, helped people get to safety, or help people like realize that there's traffic and there's construction, all this stuff. Like, it's him, and like he's trying to solve a real problem, and if I can help him do that, then I think it's a win for our community.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's see here. What else we got?
Wait, Jason Tucker, hold on.
Yeah.
Time out. You do a lot for your church, my man.
I do.
You do a lot. Like, what is something you do to give back to your church?
I get paid to work there, so my job is to be there and build their websites and do all their stuff.
But you're like the nicest guy in the world. I know you give back, and I know, like, maybe you don't just like track your time for this small little project. What is that small little project that you don't track your time for? That's what I want to know.
I'd say right now, the biggest one that I'm working on is retrofitting our intranet. So our intranet is going to be fully powered off of WordPress, and being able to kind of manage that with our church management software and making all those things kind of talk to each other. So that's my pet project, where it's just trying to build something cool using the tools that we already have, and then using WordPress to kind of make it look pretty.
To try to make it look pretty. I love it.
Yep, that's the type of thing I've been playing around with at work on the side.
One of the other places our community gives back is we've got our Facebook group, right? So we've got the Facebook group that's companion for OC WordPress, and that's a place where people just can come and ask any level question, and the other members of the community answer that question. So
that's usually the first thing I say when we kick off our meetup is here's our website, here's our Facebook group, and here's meetup. Between one of these three sites, this is how you found our meetup. This is how we communicate. And like literally, it's like showing people kind of the lay of the land, like, welcome to our group. Here's where you go. Facebook is one of the huge places for WordPress support, not just through the advanced or intermediate, but there's even like hosting groups. There's even groups just about content. You can learn a lot through those, And that's actually how I met most of you guys.
We even stream our stuff from our meetups to the Facebook group, so you can watch on the Facebook group and see if you can make it to one of the meetups or something like that. That someone's able to go on there and kind of watch that stuff. So that's pretty neat as well.
And I will say one thing, and this is kind of related to what we're talking about. If you do start a meetup, or you're running a meetup and you're not an official WordPress meetup, you're not part of the foundation, get listed, because then you get you appear in the dashboard for all of the people that are within your region, and it just increases membership at your meetup. We've seen a big jump in membership this year because of that change.
Yeah, that was
an impressive stat when for Say the Word when they showed that. Like, that was impressive.
Yeah, it works. We get our regulars, right, and we would normally get 30 people maybe for a meetup, and we've seen that this year.
Why did you make that face? You're like 30, and it was
well,
like you.
Well, his room could hold more than 30, so yeah. It's
But I'm just thinking about an average number. We've seen that jump to about 40 per meeting, so it's cool. It does work.
Yeah, we had a 5-person meetup where just those people were showing up, and then they turned on that thing on the dashboard, and the next week, I don't know, I couldn't believe it, but we were looking in the room going, we need more chairs. Like, we're having this problem of we don't have enough space because everyone's showing up to this thing. And somebody was like, I looked in my dashboard that day when it turned on, and they were like, oh, I wonder what that is. And then they drove over to the thing. I'm like,
we're getting at least 2 or 3 people say that every meeting now.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's one of those things where, like, when you start off your meetup and you go like, all right, show of hands, first time here, like, that keeps growing, and it's like, wow, okay, welcome. And then it's like, let's catch you up. You guys missed a boatload of stuff, and but like, that's a good problem to have, right? That's a very good problem to have. And
if you sign up as an official meetup, then they'll pay your meetup fees as well. So bonus.
Like one of the things our meetup does is, like, on our WP Vegas site is I will give you a free backlink from our site to your WordPress site. And, like, I can't give you much, but that's a free backlink. And any kind of link helps. and maybe people come and notice your business. Like, I'm trying to start a small community of, like, not like those networks where it's like, hey, you work for Caesar's Palace, so you get 5% discount at all these places. I don't want to be like that. But it's one of those things where it's like, on our website, these are all WordPress sites built in Vegas. Check this out. And it's just, it's a showcase, but it's literally from our meetup group. These are websites that have spawned from our group. And it's cool to see,
That's cool to see.
Yeah, Russ giving out the SEOs.
I give out a little bit of SEOs, but they're all relation no follow.
Wow, check you out.
On that note,
that's about it. Yep. All righty. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today and hanging out with us. I hope you feel better. And Matt, it's starting to sound like a Matt Damon joke.
Are we off next week? Are we dark next week, or what's going on?
I don't know. I have to look at a calendar. I don't know. I have to look and see.
It's bit office.
Yeah, we'll have to play it by ear and see here.
Yeah, but
drink a bunch of eggnog, show up drunk, and
so be like this show. That's awesome.
If a lot of people are out of the office,
anyway,
they can just stream YouTube to their TV and they can watch us next week. That's all I'm saying.
If we are off next week, then happy holidays and happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Definitely. Thank you very much for all of you for watching and hanging out and being with us. Hit the little thumbs up button if you enjoyed this. If you really enjoyed it and you want to have this delivered to your inbox or anything else,
we need to end this war on Festivus. Tomorrow, go celebrate your feats of strength. Air your grievances.
Is Festivus tomorrow?
Yes.
Now you can finally explain why that pole is in the middle of your room. So there you go. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.